Karen, and I am a trainer here at Pictage. If you previously have joined us for any of our past webinars, you will know what to expect today. But for those of you that haven't joined us, you're definitely in for a great lesson in SEO. Craig Cochran is Pictage's Senior Director of Marketing, and he's who you can see. Oh, he was there, now he's gone. He'll be back. There he is. There we go. And Craig actually has a degree in economics from Harvard University, and he also has an MBA from USC, and he's been focusing on online marketing since 2004. He has a lot of prior experience in various arenas about SEO, so I think we're really fortunate to have him on here today, and he has a wealth of SEO information, so be sure to tune in. If for some reason you guys have missed the previous webinars, we do have them recorded, and I will work on pulling up a link to that for you guys, and I'll share a link at the bottom of the page. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and introduce Craig and get started.
Hey everyone, so this is part 4 of our SEO series, and today it's local search, and local search is very mysterious. It's
Craig,
new. Oh,
I forgot something.
Oh,
are you recording this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you can keep going.
Cool. Okay. So it's very mysterious, and Katie, let me know if my microphone isn't loud enough. It's very mysterious.
When you just brought it up, it's better now.
It keeps falling. Okay. So it's very mysterious, and it's new, and there are a lot of nuances to it, but there are some basic things that are basically must-dos that actually do work. So I'll go over those, and we can talk a little bit about the unknown areas. Like Katie mentions, parts 1 and 3 are online, and I have a link at the end of this for those. And let's just define local search. So if you were on the previous traditional SEO webinars, you know it's all about relevance and authority. It's two sides to regular SEO. It's kind of the same with local search, but there are really 3. So it's your location, where you are, your relevance, what you do. If someone is searching for a photographer, are you a photographer? Yes, you're relevant. And legitimacy, I call it validity. So they're making a determination, are you a real established business that should be, that people should be referred to? Or are you a fly-by-night, here today, gone tomorrow, not too established? They want to make some sort of determination about that. So 3 factors, those 3. And of course you want to send the strongest signals that you're relevant, that you are in a specific spot, and there's no confusion about where you are, and that you are a real business. One interesting thing that's different with local search is that you technically don't even have to have a website to perform well in local search. You can have your listing, your Bing business listing, your Yahoo listing, your Google listing, and you can show up in local search without a website. It's a little bit more difficult nowadays, especially in Google. But all of you should have a website. So these are the ways to be seen. This is Google's results. This is called a blended result, and it came about in October of 2010. And this is what makes Google a little more challenging to interpret or to understand than Bing and Yahoo, because they don't have this. We'll talk more about that. And of course you can show up on a map. This is Bing. This is how they list things, map, traditional results. This is how Google used to do it. Yahoo, same thing. And it's interesting that even though Bing and Yahoo have combined in regular search, so if you don't know this, when you search in Yahoo, you're actually seeing Bing results. So Bing feeds Yahoo for regular search. But when you do local searches like this, you get different results in Bing and Yahoo. So Yahoo is still doing something in local search that's a little bit different than Bing. But everyone agrees that you do the same things to optimize yourself for all 3. It's the same underlying factors that are at play. And you don't really have to tailor what you're doing to each of the search engines. Um, so these are the factors that I'm going to talk about. There's four. You know, there are elements to each of these, but there are four main types of factors. One is a clear signal of your contact information on your website. So where you are. So this is the one thing that is on your website that is important. And I'll talk in detail about that. Comprehensive business listings we'll talk about. You want to submit yourself to Bing, Yahoo, and Google, their local business centers, and create a profile. Quality and quantity of citations. Citations we'll talk about, those are mentions of you. Not necessarily links to you, but just mentions of you on a website with your name and address and who's talking about you online, and the search engines keep track of that. And then reviews, which we're probably all familiar with, people reviewing your business in Yelp or Google Maps or City Search or wherever, the not. So you want to send a unified signal across all four of these, and a unified signal especially about your physical location. So you want to make it easy for the search engines to know that this mention of your business is really talking about you and not some other business with a similar name. You want to remove all confusion and doubt. This is a major thing to point out. With search, I mean, if you are in Philadelphia, you really can't rank for search for a photographer in Cleveland. You really are limited to, you know, the location you're in, and I wouldn't recommend trying to, you know, trick Google and just really stick to your actual location. Okay, so how do you send a crystal clear location signal? There is a thing called an H card, and it looks intimidating when you see it, but it's really not. It's just, an H card is simply a way to say to the search engines when they come to your, when they come to your Contact Us page, it's a way to tell them, I'm about to list my own address. This is my company name. This line is my street address. This is my city. This is my zip code. So you spell out every little element so they, first of all, know you're not talking about someone else, you're talking about yourself. And then there's no confusion about, you know, mistaking your phone number for your zip code and anything like that, just so you can be crystal clear. And I'll show it to you right now. There's a tool here called microformats.org. This presentation will be online, so you'll be able to see this link. But you can just create your code. So if I type in my name here, you can see on the right it fills out what's going on. I'm not going to do the whole thing. So you can see that it's saying, here is my contact information. That's what this line means. It basically says the following information belongs to me. First name, this is name, this is the organization. So you can see these little tags tell the search engines that what each piece of your address is referring to, so there's no confusion. So basically you would fill this out, create it. This is what it would appear. If you put this code on your site, this is how it would appear. You can format it with CSS and make it look you know, match your website. I would actually remove this line. This line here is this H card was created with the H card creator. You don't have to use that. Just take that out. So that way you will have an H card. You should put this wherever you can on your website, your home page, especially your Contact Us page. So that way Google knows that you are exactly where you are and there's no confusion. Also on your Contact Us page, you should link to your own listings, like at yellowpages.com or Yahoo Local. We'll talk more about this when we get into citations in the next few slides, but you're basically going to end up with a bunch of websites that mention you and your address and your contact info. And when you find them, you actually want to put those URLs on your Contact Us page, so it's kind of a two-way signal that they match. You also want to set your location in Google Webmaster Tools. If you do all those things, you can sending a pretty clear signal about your location. You can't get much clearer than that. So then there's business listings. These three are essential. You want to go to Google's Local Business Center. This is basically how you set up your place page, although that name isn't, it's not really called that anymore. You want to go to Yahoo and set up the equivalent there and the equivalent on Bing. And that is what they use to show you in the search results. Then once you do that, you want to get listings in different resources around the web and different directories. So these are just a few of important ones. This is a category of photographer directories, wedding resource directories that would apply to you guys, best of the web. So just create listings there for your business and make sure that when you create these listings that it exactly matches what you put in your H card on your website, and that so everything matches and there's no typos, there's no avenue versus street, there's no zip code with, you know, the 5 digits plus 4 digits and then some just have the 4, you know, there's no confusion. So these listings, both, if we get back to those elements that I talked about earlier, validity, location, and relevance, these listings bolster your relevance because you're going to say that you are a photographer, that you shoot weddings, portraits, blah, blah, blah. So it's giving a signal about what you do, what you're relevant for. It gives a signal for your location because all of these things should have your address, and it matches the address on your website. And it boosts your validity because the more of these you have, the more you're sending a signal that you are really out there, you're everywhere, people are talking about you, people know about you, this is really what you do. So let's talk about citations. Oops, so a citation is, like I said, anytime someone on the web mentions you, and that ideally it includes definitely your name, but it ideally includes your address and your contact information, whether it's a phone number, maybe email address. You get a lot of spam, though, if you do that. And it's exactly matching. So do citations matter? Yes, and I'm going to show you why. Also, this note here. You want to get citations from sites that are also focused on your local area. So if there's a directory, if you're in Philadelphia and there's a directory of Philadelphia resources, getting in those kinds of directories, getting mentioned on a blog that's only about Philadelphia, that kind of stuff is really, really good for you. Let's see. So let's look at Stuart Rogers. I did a search for portrait photographers Chicago in Google Maps, and he's #1, but he has no reviews. And as you can see, there's somebody here below him with 17 reviews. Where's my mouse? 17 reviews, but he's below him. So I'm going to do this right now in my browser, but basically I search for Stuart Rogers Photography, and I just put his street number and his street in quotes. And that will tell me how many different websites mention him with his address. So let's just do it right. So this was my search. Just take his. I'll take his address. think I pulled something wrong. No one street. Okay, watch this. This is something to be aware of. This number is totally wrong. It's a mystery of Google. I don't know why they do this, but there are nowhere near 20,000 results, and we can see why. I set my settings to show 100 results per page, and you just do that under settings, which in this browser is here. You can find it in your browser. Just go to look for advanced search. So you'll see that these are 100 results, page 1. If we go to page 2, there are a few more. See how it's changed to page 2 of 118 results? That's the accurate number, 118, not 20,000. So just be careful. You have to go through this little procedure. But basically what we found is that there are 118 results that mention Stuart Rogers Photography with his address. If we go back to our slide, so this was Stuart Rogers. I did the same thing for Brad Baskin. That was the other photographer that we saw that had 17 reviews but was ranking lower. He has about 109. So close to Stuart, but less. Then I checked. I went back to Stuart Rogers, and I just checked for his city. I didn't use his address. I just said how many people mention him and the city of Chicago. So we can do that. And I actually want to search on his exact business name this time and just do Chicago. Okay, so that 14,900 may not be right, so I scroll down here, go to the last page. See how it put me on page 8? So it will actually tell me 712 were already displayed. See, it did not update. It didn't update here like it did last time, so this is very wonky. And just don't pay attention to it. 712. Let's look at Brad Baskin. So Brad has 159. So this slide. So you can see, Brad is trailing Stuart by a lot, citation-wise, and that, in my opinion, is probably the reason that Stuart is number 1 without even having reviews. You can do this kind of thing for your area. So search for something that you want to rank for, see who's showing up, and then do this kind of a search, and you can see where they are getting their citations. And you can probably think of similar things or the exact same things. These apparently are just directory listings, resource listings. This is a blog post. So this is his own blog actually, but it's on Blogspot. He must have done something with this theater. He obviously took a picture for this theater that they use for production, so he got a mention, and it happens to have Chicago on the page, which is great for him. So you can do all kinds of things to get mentions in your local area, and you just want to build those up, and that will be a very important factor in getting you shown in the results. So that's citations, and then there are reviews, which were the 4th category, and I think we're all familiar with reviews. You can get them on Yelp, Yahoo Local, Google Maps, City Search, etc. See where your competitors are getting reviews. Try to get reviews from your clients. You have to be creative. You're encouraged not to, provide a monetary incentive for someone to give you a review. But that's kind of a fuzzy area. Like you could, do a favor for someone, and in return they do you a favor, whether it's a vendor or a client or whatever. But I like to think of it, getting reviews it goes beyond just optimizing for local search. It's really a fundamental thing about how you run your business. If you wow people, if you wow your clients, if you surprise them, if you go above and beyond, they are just naturally going to want to say nice things about you. And it also pays dividends for you in general as a business owner to do that, because you build relationships and you get referrals from clients. So I think that by doing those things naturally, just to grow your business, you'll end up with reviews as a great byproduct of doing that. So reviews bolster your validity and your relevance, because the reviews themselves can contain words like, you're a great photographer, you shot my wedding, blah, 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 you were in Chicago. And the number of reviews is just another, it's like citations. The more reviews you have, the more of a signal you're sending that you're a legitimate business. So that was all there is that I have to tell you to local search. Like I said, there's more to it. One of the things that's happened lately with Google is that Yelp had kind of a fight with Google, because it was saying to Google, you use my content and you use my reviews and you put them on people's Google Place pages, and it just causes your pages to show up in the search results and mine don't. So you're kind of using my reviews and my content for your own benefit, and I'm not getting anything out of it. So Google has removed reviews from around the web. If you remember, on Google Place pages, there used to be a section called Google Reviews.
Craig, you're
Yep.
going in and out a little bit. There you go.
Okay, cool. There used to be a section on Google called Google Reviews, and then there was a separate section called Reviews Around the Web. And they've pretty much done away with reviews around the web because of this. So that's not to say that those reviews aren't important. It's just that Google doesn't show them on your Google Place page as much anymore, but that's still up for debate because you can sometimes see them. They're just much less prevalent. So it's not really clear about exactly how they handled that, but they are less prevalent.
Did you see there?
No, I'm not looking at the questions. Let me actually.
Okay. There was a question about, and I think whether or not this specific person's asking, they have a blue domain template, wondering on their template do they put that code? And I think it was the first code that you were talking about, the H code, was that?
Oh.
And whether they have a blue domain or a regular website, where would they be looking to put that information?
If they have an area where they can enter HTML, so if they're going to put their address on their Contact Us page, I'm not familiar with Blue Domain, but there may be a way, there should be a way for you to just paste that code from that tool that I showed you onto your page. And if you are able to put HTML on your page, then you should be able to do that because it's just HTML.
Okay. And Cindy, right, what you're saying is maybe the splash page. I think everybody's websites are going to be so different.
If you have a Flash site, you're going to have to do some workarounds because
it won't read it.
It won't read. You can, so if you have a Flash site, underneath your Flash, you may have some HTML or some text that people don't see. If you look at the SEO webinar I did on Flash sites, I give an example of this and show you how some Flash sites actually have text under the Flash that the search engines see. If you're in that situation, you can just put it there, and the search engines will see it.
Okay, and Katie's adding into, Katie, it sounds like you also have a Blue Domain site, and she's mentioning that splash page is HTML. So Cindy, you might want to take a look into that.
Okay. Great.
Very nice. And Craig, what about putting that on people's blog on their contact form? Is that helpful?
It could be. I'm not sure because if you have your regular site and then you have a blog site and both of them have your location information on it, when Google shows a blended result like we showed earlier, so if you have a, show you. So if you have a result like this is the place page, and it's chosen to pair you with your website page. If you put contact information on both of your blog, which is a separate site, and your main site, I'm not sure if you're sending a confusing signal like Google should pair your place page with this or with your blog. Which one? I know that on your Google Place page you can say this is my website, and so that it kind of removes that question. But I don't know if you'd be introducing a little confusion if you had like an H card on both.
Okay.
You could try it, see what happens.
And Jared was asking, is it better to have reviews in Google or Bing or on sites like The Knot and Wedding Wire?
It's a good question. I think for Google, given what's been happening with Yelp and the reviews from around the web being taken away, I would say that for Google, reviews on Google are probably more valuable for you if you want to show up in Google. I mean, if you want to show up in Yahoo, I think that having reviews for your Yahoo business listing are more valuable for Yahoo. So I definitely think you want to spread it around and try to get reviews in all places. But we all know that Google is right now Google's I think about 60% of all searches, maybe a little higher. So I would definitely focus on Google to get the most exposure.
Okay. And I'm looking to see, does anybody else have any additional questions?
Someone asked me a question the other day about what happens if I move and change my address. That's one of the most frustrating things that you'll probably run into with local search. Bing and Yahoo seem to be pretty quick about updating your information and getting the fact that you moved. Yahoo seems to be really slow. There are stories of people who change their address, they reconfirm via their cell phone, and it doesn't take. In the Google map, they still show up in their old location, for example. Then they confirm it by a physical card that you get mailed, and you mail it back several times, and it still doesn't register. So that is definitely kind of a flaw, in my opinion, of Google's local search. So if you have to move, just be aware that you're going to run into that issue. There are different. There's an agency called Local Ease, and it's actually on this slide. That might be able to help you with that. I mean, they're in the business of helping you manage all of your listings and your citations. It's right here called Local Ease. If you're in that situation and you kind of need like industrial strength assistance, they're a good resource. I also wanted to mention my colleague that I used to work with at the search agency, Eric Freeman, helped me with this presentation, and he's the most knowledgeable local search person I know. He kind of focuses on that, and he's open to questions and all of that. If you need advanced help, if you find that you're in a really difficult situation, you can contact Eric. But so yeah, moving is difficult for Google.
Got it. I think there's a few other questions. Let's see. Sherry Ann was asking, maybe we missed it in the beginning because of tech issues. Our splash page and our Google Place ad where we have Palm Springs wedding photographer, yet we do not come up. Maybe I'm not reading that right. Our splash page.
Yeah, we'll say, what is that question?
I think Sherry Ann, you were missing a couple words in there. It wasn't making sense.
Let me try to find it.
Ask again. She was typing fast to put it all out there.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what her question is. So basically,
Okay.
on her splash page and her Google Place page, she has the words Palm Springs wedding photographer,
Okay.
but she doesn't come up. So Sherry, let's just take a look at your site real quick. I'm going to assume your business name is... What is your business name? I'm going to look for you, Sherry Ann Wayne, Palm Springs.
It's Stephen Wayne Photography.
This one?
Yeah.
And if you guys saw the previous webinars, you will know what I'm doing right now. I'm checking out their link profile.
And then you might have asked this question while you're checking this out. Craig, a couple of people who are asking, I think you did answer it actually, who they can hire to do this kind of stuff and what they would look for.
Mm-hmm. You can hire Eric Freeman.
Okay, you did say that.
You could contact Localese. That's more of a, they help you make sure your business has a lot of citations all around the web, and they can help you with specific things. You know, but they're a company as opposed to an individual, so it just depends on how you want to operate. So with Sherry, basically, her webpage, Sherry, your webpage isn't ranking because you don't have any links coming into your site. So this desertreggae.com does link to you, but that's the only site on the internet that is linking to you. And if you watch the first SEO webinar on relevance versus authority, I go over this tool and I show you ways that you can figure out how to get more of these links, and you basically want this authority to be much higher. This authority especially to be much higher, and then you'll start ranking in the regular results. I can try to find your Google Place page if we do a search. Stephen.
And I did send to everybody the link, so that way if they weren't able to attend the first few, that you guys, I'm sending the link and you should see the link sent to everybody. That is going to give you the previous webinars that have been recorded.
Were we looking at Palm Springs? Yes. So here's your page. So you have reviews and you have good. You filled out this. You set your location for Palm Springs. See where you are in Palm Springs. Palm Desert so you're in Palm Desert. Where is Palm Springs here? It's difficult because you're not physically in Palm Springs. You're in Palm Desert. So it's going to be hard for you to actually rank like this person does. Well, it's a swim club. Let's just see who comes up. You can tell because if you do for Palm Springs, a wedding photographer. see how it prefers to show this, and you're here in Palm Desert, so it's going to be difficult for you to break in. I don't even know if it's going to be possible for you to break in here, because with local search, I mean, you are limited to your physical location. So that's one factor. I bet if we search for Palm Desert, you come
But
up.
Craig, this is something to address too, because it's something you talk about, and completely correct me if I'm wrong, but one part about SEO is all of these things tying together. Like each webinar that you've discussed different pieces of SEO.
Mm-hmm.
So Sherry Ann's mentioning, well, there's some people that don't live there either, but that they're showing up. Is it possible that, yeah, their local search isn't, they don't live there, but they're doing some of the other SEO aspects that are allowing them to show up there?
Yeah, so what happens is that we just search for, I do a regular search.
If you can spell.
The good thing Google is you don't have to spell. So these people here have a blended result. So it's hard to tell why they're ranking, because it could be that their website is really well optimized for SEO and traditional SEO, and their place page is not. But because their website is, it's matched together and they're showing up on this page. For some of these studios, it could be that their website is not optimized at all, but their place page has a lot of citations and reviews, and it's really well done, and that's pulling it up. So both local search and traditional SEO in Google are working together, and you never can tell which one of those two, or were they both, the underlying reason for the really great performance.
She's mentioning Michael Graham, who you're specifically talking about there. It's a P.O. box, I guess, that he's using because he's from L.A.
You can do that. You can do that now, and you never know. That's a problem that Google has difficulty solving. I would imagine that if they discover that people are using P.O. boxes and they're not really in that area, that's a negative factor. But at the same time, if there's a lot of citations for them and reviews from people in Palm Springs, and there's a lot of citations from Palm Springs specific websites, that's a sign that they actually do operate in Palm Springs, and they are a legitimate Palm Springs business, even though they have a P.O. box. So it gets a little muddy. But right now, Google doesn't really check and ask you if you, as far as we know, if you are giving them a P.O. box or if you're giving them an actual storefront or your physical office or your home. So you can do that kind of thing and just list that as your business address and go from there. I mean, if people actually drive by your location to come and meet you without calling you first, you'll have to deal with that issue. But let's see. Any other questions?
I don't see any other questions that have come in.
One thing I wanted to do with this, with Sherry's website, is I wanted to do a Google search on her citations, because if she's getting a lot of citations that say Palm Desert and don't say Palm Springs, it's sending a message that their business is in Palm Desert. Oops. Can't spell today. So 47. So there's about 47 mentions of the company name in Palm Desert, and 44 in Palm Springs. There's probably some overlap, because Palm Springs and Palm Desert probably appear somewhere on the page but may not appear in reference to their business. So it's hard to tell. But the point is that you have about 50-50. So half the citations say Palm Springs, half say Palm Desert. So there is this doubt that you are serving. It could be interpreted that you're serving both. Maybe people who all their citations are specifically about Palm Springs and they have a Palm Springs address are preferred. Google's preferring to show them above you because it's more certain that that's going to be a great search result for that user. And with you, there's a little bit of question. So that's one of the things that's going on.
Okay, let me see if we've got any extra questions that have come in. Okay, I don't see any other questions, so I think we'll probably wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Craig, for signing in again today and filling our brains with more SEO. We do have another webinar that's coming up, and I don't believe it's until the first or second week of December. I'm just quickly going to grab.
Here it is. It's the 12th. The first of December.
All right, so it's in 2 weeks from now. We hope you all can join us. And anything else that you want to finish up with?
Nope. Good luck and start getting your citations together.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.